It being 6 o'clock, I'm calling to order the meeting of the Carver Redevelopment Authority for October 19th, 2021. We have everyone here tonight on the board. The biggest change that has happened is that our planning director has left. His last day was, I believe, last Friday. So we will be operating without a planning director for a while. I'm not sure how long, but we can, I think I have that up on the agenda. Yeah, under planner search. So let's go ahead with the Route 44 development project. I'm sure at home Jim is going like, oh, I have something to say, but he doesn't. So, Sabra, you know I'm going to turn to you first.
I know. I'm trying to find where the agenda is on the website.
I posted a revised agenda today too.
Where?
Yeah, I couldn't find it.
No, it was there.
Who wants this sheet? I'm
I
sorry.
went back and saw it.
You did?
Yeah,
Did you put it under the?
Redevelopment Authority.
I can't even get online. Yes.
No, there's no internet service?
It's terrible. I mean, I could probably.
We're going to take a couple of minute recess. Can you pause, please? Okay, we're back. Thank you. The first thing up is we've had some developments with the Route 44 development project. Savory's handled most of those when I was out ill, and I am going to turn to him first.
Okay.
The working group was yesterday.
The working group was yesterday. Pat and I were both in attendance. Rick LaFawn was there, Chief Weston, Deputy Chief Germain, Sue, the new Finance Director, Mark Townsend, and I think that was it.
Yeah, that was it. That was it. It was a smaller group than usual.
Yeah, we didn't have Sarah Hewins, and we didn't have
Ellen wasn't there.
Alan Blanchard, and obviously we didn't have Jim. Pat, feel free to jump on anything that I forgot or am
Yep.
incorrect on. The chief has had some communication with Hillwood, and there was a handout given where basically the Hillwood's fire people or water people have come back with some additional increases in the amount of water available that the chief looked at as being a positive move, a good start. You know, that there, at least there was communication. The chief did say that on the other areas outside of the water, that they were still very far apart. The town administrator, Rick, mentioned that he had spoken to KP Law about the rezoning issue, and as Sharon, as you and I knew from Jim, Amy Quessel, who was their zoning lawyer, had said that if we were going to reduce the height of the zoning in the Green Business District, that it would have to be done in every district in the town.
Oh my God.
Otherwise, it would be seen as being punitive to people in the Green Business District.
Oh,
So that would mean that everything that was 40 feet in commercial would have to go to 32, and anything residential that's now 35 would have to go back down to 32.
So I apologize if I am interrupting, but I wasn't here for the last couple of meetings. So I take it the chief has decided that he doesn't want to go 40. Where has he been for the last so many years if he's going to go to 32?
It's something that came up of
Okay.
trying to possibly lower it. And one of the things that Jim was working on was writing a possible warrant for, possible article for the town warrant for town meeting in April to do that, just to have it ready in case that's where it went.
Oh, my God.
I think the chief was a little bit surprised that that was the scope of what would have to happen, and he sort of mentioned that that wasn't what he had in mind.
Right?
That's
So,
what he had in mind?
That's not what
That's
he had in
not what he had in
mind. He didn't expect that to be an end result.
Oh, okay.
But that kind of was sort of hanging in the air, but what Rick did add to that, it was the fact that Amy suggested that lowering the height across the board in one district or across the board was probably not a good idea.
I agree.
Just
Oh, I
from
agree.
the standpoint of potential liability. Amy does have an associate that is working on looking through all the documentation that has been, the RDA has had with Route 44, through the Urban Development Plan, the MIPA agreement, et cetera, looking for any kind of binding language that would give Route 44 and/or Hillwood the as-of-right at 40 feet.
Oh,
So, you know, because of obviously if that language is there, we can't go back
right,
to a lower
right.
height without opening ourselves up to,
Lawsuit.
well, a lawsuit probably from
Certainly, George.
Route 44.
Oh, yeah, I don't think.
But the very real possibility of having to return the 3.2 million grant that the state gave us for the road
Ooh,
going in there.
As well as the money that Route 44 put into it.
Yeah,
wow.
so
And,
it-
I mean, it broadens, it's, the things that Savory and I were initially concerned about was the investment that Route 44 has put into this project, which includes buying 12 properties and the highway money, and the remediation that they've
Yeah,
done
the
in the land.
mitigation they went through.
By down zoning, as we're
You're
calling
talking
it,
millions,
oh, yeah.
it could be.
Oh,
big chunk.
And what, and we've had a little bit of difficulty trying to get KP Law to focus in on what we're looking exactly for. And we're looking exactly for any kind of responsibility, any kind of liability that we might have by taking something that's as of right and apparently arbitrarily downzoning it out.
So anyway, there is an associate at KP Law who is now focused
Yeah.
directly on that. So, well, that's a good thing. What it also establishes, though, is the fact that the town is now paying money to KP Law to look into this.
Oh,
So
gee,
it's costing us money to try to find out what.
Is that on our books or their
It
books?
might be.
Town of Carver or RDA?
It wasn't really brought up. That was all done through Jim. So I don't know where the financing is coming from. The question did not come up.
No.
Yesterday.
I would think it would be the town.
I would think so.
think so.
I would
Yes.
think so.
Yes.
Just the question may have come from us, but
It's
it
not
has.
specific.
Yeah.
Right.
What do you think again, Pat?
I would think that it would, if there, for any cost associated with that, would be the town's responsibility.
Yeah.
That's what I think. I would argue that.
Well,
Yeah.
Mike Milanowski always said, Sharon, I think you remember, you too, Savory, when he came to us a couple times when we had some issues, he said it's the town of Carver, it's not us, it wouldn't be the RDA, it wouldn't be our responsibility. He said that many times.
Mhm.
He didn't say whose, but he said it was gonna be ours.
Right.
What, as far as paying legal bills?
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of up to who's ever sitting in the head office.
Yeah, you're right.
You know?
Now, one of the questions that I asked Rick was, in situations where we do need the assistance of KP Law, who do we go to? Because it used to be Jim. And I think that Jim is staying on sort of as a consultant for a little while. And I asked if that was something that we should contact Jim about because he's still going to be in and out. And Rick's answer was a definitive no. That Rick is pretty much staying here to guide the planning board through some phases and is not here to do the rest of the functions that he was doing. So that anything that we need to go through with KP Law would be directed through Rick.
And I think that would be
Rick?
either, it's mostly either myself or Savory asking Rick, may we contact, or here's the question, please send this. And then he would oversee doing that. I can't, right now, neither one of us can email KP Law or any of the attorneys directly. It has to have the go-between. But I think during this interim period, we'll have as much access as we need. It's just another step. It's not really another step. We used to go through Jim, now we just have to go through
Yeah.
Rick.
And it could very well be that we ask Rick the question and Rick just says, okay,
Send it.
that's fine, send it to Greg.
Yeah, right,
He could say that, in which case we open up a dialogue for that particular circumstance.
right.
And that goes for anyone else on the board. If you have a question that you feel KP Law should answer, or we need to discuss, either send it to me or Savory, and
Yeah.
we can get it right through. As far as the chief goes, I do know that he's meeting with Hillwood later this week,
Okay?
I believe.
I think it's tomorrow.
I think it's tomorrow. Matt Gutsy, I believe, is coming in town and had sent him some proposals with the water, and the chief, again, indicated that it was a good start for a discussion point, and they were meeting, I believe, tomorrow. So at some point, I think I'd like to get in touch with the chief. I wasn't aware that he had brought up the down zoning idea to do it, but apparently he did about a month ago when they were here for a meeting. They didn't react to it at the time. They certainly never questioned us. But Mac Utsey at Hillwood did say that if that went through, if that was actually pursued in a manner which would indicate to him that the chief was no longer on board with any kind of upzoning, increasing the zoning, but now downzoning it out, it said they would have to reevaluate their position with the project.
Well, yeah.
I'm gonna ask her like.
That would just be
I have a copy.
way too confusing.
Yeah,
No,
oh my God.
She's gonna give me one.
Yes.
To come in and say, oh,
Thanks.
we're bringing this down to 32, but we're bringing this up to 65.
Oh my God. The down zoning thing is a key.
Thank you.
I can't get my mind around it.
I know,
Yeah,
it's,
I feel like we got sucked into this down zoning thing and now we can't get out of it. It's like.
well, I think we can get out of it, but we either have to kind of dig the hole and let everybody else say,
Yeah,
oh, this
yeah.
is the way out.
Well, I think the bigger question is, how did it get up to 40 in the first place? It was years ago.
Good question.
Yeah, no, that, yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean,
where was everybody then?
Well,
that's where we are now,
Yeah.
so.
yeah, so that's
How
where we
many
are
years-
now,
How
and
many
that's
years ago did that happen? Several.
2006.
Up to
No,
2006.
yeah, somewhere in there.
Right, and then the green business was
Yeah,
2010.
yeah.
Grief.
We were asked about the update on the consultant for the RFP. I told Rick that we had already met with the one group of people, and that we were continuing our search.
I did get an email, you must have gotten it late today, from Stantec, the one that Savory did interview. I wasn't able to be on the
Owen?
call. What's that?
Owen? Is that his name?
Jeff
Oh, yes, I did
Jeff-
that, yes.
left? Something
Yeah.
like that? Drew left.
Drew left.
And he said he would be putting together a proposal, so we haven't seen an actual proposal, but you felt, you and I haven't had a chance to debrief on that call yet, but you felt that they were almost too big for what we want?
I felt, yeah, my feeling was that they were, being a national company, even though they had local people, I was a little concerned that it might have been a rubber stamp type situation, that they would, okay, this is what we want, let's go to bin 3 and pull out our rules on how we do this.
And either way, we'll have a on-hand proposal from them, he said, I
Right.
believe in the email, in the next day or so, weeks or so, a week.
Right, I mean, they were certainly professional, they were certainly good at what they did, but I don't know if they had the down-home touch I think we're gonna need.
Too big for us.
Who was that?
Stantec was the name?
Stantec,
Thank you.
and his name was Drew Leff, Leff, that we spoke, Savory spoke with. And yesterday, speaking of the down-home touches, Savory and I did a 2-hour call with Stephen Cole.
All right, I hope it's good.
A Zoom call.
I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
I'm still processing.
I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
When it was over, I had not realized that we had been on the Zoom call for 2 hours. And he seems to feel that it's within his bailiwick. He certainly has the connections. I had sent him the scope of work ahead of time, told him to look on the website, but he was familiar with it. He certainly knows many of the players in town. I believe he has good relationships with them.
I need hearing aids, really.
Oh,
I don't know if I should sit over there, I might hear better. Go ahead.
so I'm not being rude.
Switch seats?
I don't know if it'll help, because you talk also.
But, yeah, but I'd be on the other side of you.
Yeah, you'd be surrounded by them.
All right, let's do that. I swear I'm getting hearing aids.
Well, if you're getting a little something with a coffin in your ears, are just like,
Well, my head is full of everything that's not supposed to be in it. But anyway.
Well, Bose just came out with hearing aids.
Who?
Bose.
Who?
You
Bose.
Well, you write that down for me, because I need them.
Bose speakers. And they're wicked cheap.
I need them.
Anyway,
Thank you. Thank you.
I lost my track.
I know, I'm sorry.
Stephen Cole.
Stephen Cole, did set up another call for next Monday.
Ooh.
He was gonna pull together some additional information for us, do some investigation. And it would be, he seemed to be able to be, he was really, things were kind of flying all over. I took notes. But on the publicity side, or the public relations side, and certainly heralding any zoning changes that we might need through town meeting. He would be a great person to stand up in front of town meeting.
Absolutely. I remember him. I remember him.
I think so. And he was gonna drop a scope of work. He said it would be a billable hours kind of thing, so that as they perform services, they would attend meetings if we wanted them to. He had access to, as I understand it, he had access under this base of people that he could call on. So we need to get a little more down in the weeds with him, but I felt the initial
Yeah.
discussion was very good. He had some very good ideas about how to follow through on some things. And what was your overall impression? We didn't talk afterwards.
You had started talking about the fact that he knew all the players.
Yeah.
And Stephen was the planning director before
Yeah.
Jim, here in Carver.
Oh,
For
yeah.
those who don't
Oh,
know.
Yeah.
So he knows everybody. He
Yeah.
knows the project. He was here when Route 44 was working through the beginning parts of this. So this is very, very familiar to him, which means that there's no learning curve.
Like that, that's a big plus.
And he also has relationships through his role here with the fire chief, police chief, members of the select board.
Everybody, really.
Everybody.
Yeah,
He was very.
Water district, he knew. He
Yeah.
asked for an update on the planning board members for whom he didn't know. He had the names. But it wouldn't be some strange suit coming in from Boston to meet with the fire chief.
Right.
It would be Stephen.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
For my vote.
Stephen now is the director of the Plymouth County Economic Development Group, which is a not-for-profit,
Nice.
located, headquartered in Plymouth. But this would kind of fall under, it's within the realm of what he does there. These are the types of things that he is doing with other developers in Plymouth and Kingston and other places around Plymouth County.
Excellent.
So this is something that he would, not only be able to do, but he already knows the backstory.
He knows the backstory, he knows the personalities, people would take his calls.
Yeah, known quantity is good.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
important.
so
People will
he
trust
came,
his,
I believe he had been hired by Michael. He left because this apparently was his dream job when it opened up a mere 18 months after he came here. So we'll have more to report, but we are meeting again with him next Monday. And he'll have more to report back to us, and then we should have whatever's come in from Stantec. The other companies either did not respond or responded that they were not interested. So we have these two at this time, and if we need to look further, we will, but
You only need one.
we only need one.
Right.
Only one.
And like I said, this is the scope of work that we handed out to him,
Yep.
to the people. So that will be updated then. We don't have Paul Kelly, I wasn't sure whether he'd be here tonight.
I didn't contact it, to be honest with you.
Oh, okay. Oh, you know what? And
He
this
sent me
was-
an email, he said he had a conflict.
Okay. Okay.
Before we get off the Stephen Cole thing, do we want to, I assume we're gonna have a meeting in 2 weeks, do we want to see if we can
I
bring
said-
Stephen in?
I told him we did not have a meeting set up, we would set one up tonight, and I would let him know.
Alright.
So my feeling is to bring him in.
Oh,
because-
yeah.
Sharon and I both,
Absolutely.
I worked with him
Yeah.
on the senior survey committee, working with the
Oh, I remember
RDA.
that, I remember
Yeah.
that. yeah.
So,
I worked
I
with
know him very well myself,
I worked with him on several zoning things.
yeah.
right.
So we're all very familiar
So
with
for
him.
Paul and Pat, I think it's an opportunity to get to meet him and know
Yep.
him, but
Okay.
I think that
Sounds-
you'll be impressed with him.
Sounds good.
It sounds like somebody with the right qualifications and an extra layer of thumbs up just from what he's,
Right,
being around.
It also will allow him to hit the ground running, because we
Yeah,
know we've always
exactly.
been under the time gun, and we still are. I mean,
We still are.
we're almost in November, and now, you know, on regular articles for town meeting in April, they're due at the end of November.
Yeah.
oh, really?
Yeah,
My God.
especially if you have money that you know, budget items.
Yeah. And he's it's not like we have to explain town meeting process to him. He's done it,
He's been there, done that.
and he did very well in the Carver town meetings that he presented at.
He did.
For things. So he's very eloquent, he's well-spoken, he's friendly, he's personable, and
And he writes well.
he writes well.
Everybody both speaks well,
And he,
presents well.
so the extra link that he has in knowing the people here in town, and the fact that he's only 15 minutes away, he's right next to Town Hall.
So you're looking at the next meeting?
The next meeting to bring him in, if
Okay.
he's available.
Great.
And he said he would certainly be available for that.
Good.
And the update from KP Law and the review of the zoning bylaws, we don't have that yet, right? That's what Rick said?
We don't have anything in writing. We have the suggestion from Amy that it's not a good idea to downsize.
Oh, right, but we've asked 5 or 6 weeks ago for the review of the proposed bylaws, zoning bylaws that we were talking about going into town meeting. When Hillwood came up with a couple of tweaking things,
Right. that was
like including some of the new parcels into the green business park. Those just have to be voted in, but there
That
was
was-
about 7?
Yeah,
I
6 or
think-
7, yeah, the parking, the road width.
Right, the road width,
The water tower,
right.
yeah.
So we have not gotten
No, that was not brought up at the meeting, to my
Is
recollection.
that new changes or?
No, well,
Or add,
It's the first.
They were added.
It's the first things that Hillwood wanted to do.
Yeah.
It was the 65-foot height plus the other ancillary things.
because when they were here, whatever that guy's name is, said that, I personally, I saw it on the minutes, I asked them about those changes, because some of them are out, the language was outdated, and he said they would
Right.
be involved in writing them.
After they proposed the 65-foot, one of their attorneys, their land attorneys that we met at the little meeting that you zoomed in on,
Right.
had what I consider minor zoning. It was such as the parcels, and it was some parking. So
It
they
was
reviewed.
lighting, solar
Right.
on the roof.
Right, so they reviewed all of our bylaws in the Green Business Park, all of them as it would relate to that, and they came up with, along with the 65-foot, 5 or 6 smaller ones, but we need them to be looked at by KP Law, which they were sent in, and we have not gotten back the report yet because Matt keeps asking me for that, and we do not have it yet.
Right.
So I will check with Rick on that one, just in case they're getting cross-checked on which zoning bylaws we're asking them for, either downzoning or the proposed ones. Because those are the ones that have to get ready to go in front of the planning board, to go in front of public hearing
Before November.
before, well, as we
Public
get
hearings
the,
would
as we
probably
get
be
the
in
warrant.
January or February.
Oh.
Yeah, so I need the warrant timeline from Rick too,
Yeah, I think it gets,
by dates.
I think it goes into the select board in November or December.
I think the public hearings is usually around March. The public hearings.
February, March.
Yeah, because they do one public hearing on the zoning bylaws for different things.
That would be the select board or the planning board?
The planning.
The planning board sponsors them.
Right.
But they join with the select board?
No, the
No.
planning board sponsors the public hearing at one
Oh,
of the
okay.
meetings.
Okay.
And it's just an open public hearing for anybody who wants to go.
Okay.
Because the planning board is the one who submits
Submits?
Yeah.
Okay.
and presents
Those
the
are their
zoning
articles?
changes, yes.
Right.
Okay.
We would, however, be, or Stephen would be the
Right.
spokesperson
Okay.
if we choose to hire him.
Right, they talked about Montello Street, going back to the
The working group.
working meeting. They were supposed to start on the 15th, which was Friday. No one saw any work being done. So the assumption was they would start yesterday. And I haven't been up there that way, so I don't know.
I didn't see it this morning.
Nothing?
When I went to work, I didn't see it, no.
Okay. Well,
That
again,
was being followed under Jim's office, so was there someone that is now assigned to, and I think that's just bills payable or disbursement? I mean, I know it's nothing we actually have to oversee.
right.
Oh,
As far as I know, I think that what was mentioned was that that VHB had been paid and the seed money to the contractor had been paid.
Okay.
Because the only money that the town has received is the $700,000 from Group 44. We don't physically have the money from the state yet.
Is that a paper trail that Jim was working on, or?
I don't think, there didn't seem to be any concern about that.
Okay.
It seemed to be just the machinations
The
of
state. Okay.
government. And the last thing I just wanted to say about the working meeting yesterday is that Rick has not heard from Judy Barrett
Yeah.
on the fiscal impact analysis. So he was going to circle back with her yet again.
Okay.
So I think that
The
takes care
last
of
we heard on that was they were waiting to hear from the police chief.
Yeah,
And, okay.
yeah.
What,
Has any-
outside
anything I missed?
firm that's doing this?
I don't think so, Savory. It wasn't a whole lot of meat
No.
yesterday, you know?
No, there wasn't.
Just some discussion, and I think you hit it all good.
Okay.
The, what
Who's doing
Judy,
this, excuse me, who's doing this fiscal analysis?
Judy
Her
Barrett,
name is Judy Barrett. She's a consultant hired by Hillwood.
she's actually worked for the town before. She was the consultant to the ZBA under a 40B proposal. And she is doing a fiscal impact analysis as to what the benefit, the fiscal benefit might be from the project,
Mhm.
or various views of the project. But she didn't have all the information that she needed to submit it because Hillwood hired her. And I don't see any reason other than to have our own financial staff go over it, but I don't see any reason we need another one.
Well, somebody's gotta look at it from the side.
Well, they will, but
Okay.
Stephen does it.
Excuse me?
Stephen does that. Stephen does that.
Oh, okay,
He mentioned all kinds of money things.
he did.
He
Yeah.
did, and
He hit the
Like-
bricks running with us.
yeah, he was, a lot of different ways of taxation for this project, and, some of the things that we had talked about earlier about
Mhm.
different ways of financing some of the things that the chief may want through early taxation and then a sliding scale to move it more towards the general fund. But
Mhm.
he had a lot of,
He had a lot of good proposals. And
right. And it wasn't
ideas.
like he had to think about them,
Yeah.
they were there.
Because he said these were things that had worked with other projects.
Yeah.
The Plymouth Regional Economic Development Foundation that he runs, or he's the director of, he points out it's regional. Says it's in Plymouth, and most of his trustees are from Plymouth, but he is working very hard to broaden it. And what it is to bring economic development to the whole area, because then everybody benefits.
Cool.
And something like this would be beneficial to the whole area. But he had, I mean, he was talking about jobs and how to do this, and
Right.
it was, we'll have him present.
Right, one of the first things that he said in speaking to us, which I found very interesting, is that with the closure of the nuclear
Yeah.
plant,
That was
that
interesting.
the majority, or the higher percentage of employees at the nuclear plant lived in Plymouth. The second highest majority lived in Carver.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of people who are gonna be out of work if they're not already.
Interesting. I didn't know
So,
that.
part of what the Plymouth Economic Development, his foundation is working on, is to trying to make sort of this a mini tech mecca.
Yeah,
And he brought up the fact that there is a company in Cordage Park
Yeah.
that makes submersibles. So they launch submarines from North Plymouth.
really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Oh, gee, really?
They do,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Cool.
Oh, my God, electric
So-
bolt or whatever.
So, I mean, these are little known facts, but there are,
there is a deep water port there,
Oh, man.
so.
there are, tech people here, and obviously tech people ran the nuclear plant,
Yeah.
you know? They've got that, next level of expertise, and they're all gonna be needing work,
No
so.
doubt. That's awesome.
It was quite fascinating, some of the things that he was talking about.
And it wasn't just a microcosm of just Carver. He was immediately seeing a much larger, bigger picture.
Yeah.
And, I mean, there are gonna be issues that are simply Carver related, but
Sure.
in the greater scheme of things, his viewpoint is a little bit bigger, and that will help everyone, I think.
Was he glad you called him?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
All right, yes.
I said you told me to.
I know, did you tell him
Of
that?
course I did. Okay, so if we're set there, I think the big thing we need to track down is KP Law, the review, and try to have that for the next meeting. On 90 Forest Street,
Gone.
Oh,
It's-
boy,
This was all gone.
it's back.
it's back.
The last thing I spoke with about, I talked to Jim about it on Friday before he left, and what it seems to be now is that Jack Williams, with whom we have the purchase and sales agreement with,
Yeah,
is looking to assign, he believes, this is coming from Jim, the purchase and sale agreement to E.J. Pontiff, who also owns the abutting parcels with the Butler buildings and the Nutrium, or as Agway as we call it, buildings. Because he also has other land, and E.J. Pontiff is interested in combining that land with our land and making another mini, I'm trying to say this with a straight face, craftsman, tradesman area. So what it means for us is that he's not contacted us, Jim is not his contact anymore, he has my contact information as to where to go forward with this. I'd like to have Joanna
Yeah.
look at the
yeah,
PNS
yeah.
to see if there's anything about,
I started looking at it, I have some questions, I think KP Law, the girl that we were dealing with, Katie
Katie Klein.
Klein, yeah. I wanted to, because she wrote this up,
right,
and this is commercial, it's not just a
right.
everyday house. There are parts of it here that says he can get his money back, but there are parts of it says that we keep the money.
Yeah.
I don't see something in here that says you can transfer
You can
that
assign
ownership.
it, right?
No.
He
I
might
don't-
have to ask permission, but would you, what do you say I send this to Katie? And just
She
have-
got this.
I understand it, but I send it with the question, it's always best if you send it to her again.
Okay,
So it's right in front of her, but with the question of, in the event that he has to assign the, what would be the process and
Yeah.
procedure? What is
Yeah.
our liability? We've not heard from Jack. This is speculation from, not speculation, but this is from inquiries to Jim and Jim to me. So I haven't finished listening to the planning board meeting of last week where I know Mr. Pontiff was on discussing his other buildings, and I thought he was scheduled for later in that meeting, but I'm not 100% sure.
So this Mr. Pontiff, as you said here, he owns already the ones that are currently up and running?
Yes,
He owns those four sites?
he owns,
There's 3 sites, I think.
well, Bayberry Dunes owns one, and I think that's the one on the corner of Leonard and Forest.
The one that has the 2 buildings that that's a stop. They haven't done
I think
anything. on that one.
they haven't done anything, but EJ Pontiff owns the one that is what we were referring to as the Agway building.
Oh, okay. But the one behind it too?
The
Yes,
one behind it too.
that's the
Oh.
tradesman craftsman, the 3 garages, the 3
Oh, okay,
bays.
okay.
So our parcel is next to that. So if these are EJ Pontiff's parcels, our parcel is right here. And,
Well, that's a blank parcel.
No,
no,
no, that's where
Ours
Agway
is.
is. That's where
Agway's
Agway is
here, and this is ours.
Agway owns all the way, because there's a lot of,
I'm just using,
well, I went there already.
yeah,
And I
but,
came from our corner
right,
down, and there's a whole big piece of property between that building you're talking about and our property.
and that might belong to Mr. Pontiff. So he wants to combine his land with our land,
Okay.
or Jack Williams' land,
Yeah,
So-
it might be owned by Pontiff, but undeveloped yet.
undeveloped yet.
So Jack Williams can buy it and sell it to Mr. Pontiff.
That's how I'm feeling.
Huh?
That's what I'm thinking.
Why not?
But
We're 3/4 of the way done.
partly, I think the issue might be is that his PNS hinges on the fact that he produces a, not building permit, but his cleared site plan review for his design for the land Williams
Yeah,
by 12/31.
absolutely, yeah, that's what I get.
So whether that's a sticking point, because this is the middle of October, that's,
Far to go.
there's not that much time to go. But I'll send that to Katie and just tell her what give it a review, and,
You have to go through Rick though, right?
yeah,
You want me to do this?
if you want to.
Yeah, I
I
can
mean, you're kind of that's kind of your thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I'll do it.
So that's all I have on 94th Street still.
Oh, I wanted to add to this 94. Remember I sent you this email?
Yeah.
Kathy K.
Oh, right.
Kathy K. sends me an
Who's that?
email, and she said, now that I know about, this particular
Right,
property,
because-
she said there was a person who expressed an interest, and she gave me his name and his number. He's Jack Sugden, president of the New England Realty. I have a phone number and a cell phone number.
He had a client who might have been interested in it, is the way I read
So I
it.
want to follow up on that. I want to find out if there's any relationship.
Oh, okay.
Hey,
All right, do it.
transfer deals, I don't have a problem with that.
But the issue would be that it's under PNS right now
Right.
until
That's what I said. yeah.
until what time? Slocum Gibbs, the confirmatory deed was approved and signed and recorded at the Registry of Deeds by Slocum Gibbs, and we'll probably have a bill for that, just some minor legal
What was
work.
this it wasn't a clear title?
10 years ago, in 2010, the RDA sold to Slocum Gibbs a parcel of land that was 4 acres or so off Wareham Street, but it didn't give a map and lot number, and it just said a parcel of land at 0 Wareham Street.
Oh, okay.
It went back to the back title, it made reference to the tax taking, but it wasn't clear title. I mean,
So-
it wasn't a clear description
So
by any
what
means.
did you do?
So John Garrickson of Slocum Gibbs about a month ago contacted me and said, I believe Slocum Gibbs is in the process of selling their land, so I think that's part and parcel of figuring out all the pieces. and they came up with this deed. It was a very vague and indefinite description. Their attorney drew up a confirmatory deed. We sent the confirmatory deed along with their cover letter, along with all the supporting back title information to Katie Klein. She reviewed it, had no problem with it, and it went to the select board 2 weeks ago. They signed it. I went upstairs and signed it. Attached, I got Kara to do a certificate of vote from the vote that we took, allowing me, Savory, and Pat, or you, who's ever treasurer, to sign individually.
I'm just acting.
And I attached that vote with it too, so that would be clear, and John Garrison picked it up and said that, I did ask them if they would spend $175 recording it, he said,
No problem?
glad to.
Great.
So that's all been taken care of. It wasn't a big screw-up of any kind, it was just an indefinite description, which wouldn't fly for title insurance, and it's all cleared up. So,
All right.
what's that, the third deed we've done since
Oh
I've
my
been in
God.
charge?
There's so much under the covers here, it's ridiculous.
We don't want to dig too deep here.
I thought we ran a good house, but I'm not sure.
Under the Town of Carver planner search, if you've seen it on the website, it's open for submissions until November 5th. I did email Rick and say, I don't believe they put together any kind of a search committee this time. It is a town administrator appointment and hire, but I did ask for a seat at the table on the interviews. So if he narrows it down to 2 or 3, I think the RDA very much should be involved on an interview process.
Will St. Clair was when they hired Marlene.
I was involved when they hired some building inspectors from the zoning perspective. So that's on the table, and I will continue to pester somebody about it,
Yeah,
especially
good.
after it closes on the 5th,
Yeah.
November 5th. And
Right.
if they say we have 20, then I don't know if they're gonna put together a group to review them and pick them, but if anyone other than me wants to be on the committee, I mean, I'm happy to do it, so.
Go for it.
Do you want to do a search committee? Are you all searched out?
I may be doing it again.
Were you on the select board one? The one that they couldn't figure out who they wanted or what they wanted?
We're on tape here.
No,
No.
Was he on it?
no,
No?
the town administrator search committee.
Yeah.
Yeah, were you on that?
Yeah.
Oh, you were?
Mhm.
Oh, you still are? They're
I
looking
don't
for
know.
more people.
It all depends what happens tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, tonight, woo.
15 minutes.
Well, that went up to the high school too. That meeting went up to the high
Oh,
school.
it did move to
Yeah.
that?
Wow, so big.
And I'm not gonna get there on time.
No,
That's gonna be,
You're not gonna touch that one, are you?
No, I was gonna go to a meeting if it was upstairs, so.
yeah, it was upstairs.
oh, where is
It's
it? The high
it's
school?
online.
It's at the high-
I heard it was,
It's live.
that's what I heard.
Yeah.
It's gonna be,
It's
it's gonna be important for our destiny too.
Oh, yeah, there's no
You know,
question about it.
So,
No question.
we've gotta be, oh, man.
I have a question for you, because there was already a select committee. Would that select committee be regrouped, or would they start a all brand new one?
I don't know what they will do.
I
Okay.
don't know.
There's all kinds of options that can come out of tonight.
Yeah.
Oh,
But the important thing right now is, you know, we're operating, the RDA in a critical time period is operating without a planner, without building department support. And, you know, a TA who's right
We,
now
we
a
get another-
little bit distracted at times.
We get another hole in there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because we have to shuffle through the town administrator.
we do.
That's the issue.
So that's the planner search. We're not involved in the ITA search or the TA search at this point. So what do we have in the way of treasurer's report? I got one today that looked very nice.
Oh, yeah.
I recognize your work, Joanna.
Oh, yeah, I bet you do.
First off, are we set with the $20,000 that Hillwood sent
Well,
us.
when you say set,
We will be.
we got a check, we got the check, everything's
Yeah.
good to go. It's just me resolving the issues tomorrow firmly and for sure, and coming back and saying, hi, Pat, you are now the treasurer.
This has been a never-ending saga here. One thing I did ask, though, is I did ask Rick to have Hillwood process us a paper check, at least this time.
That was good on your part. That was good.
So they did.
They did.
We have the paper check.
Yep.
So, and as Joanna and I have been talking, we met yesterday and so forth, and she has graciously volunteered to do a little more of the legwork, which I appreciate.
No problem.
And once that's resolved,
I believe we're good to go.
then we are good to go. And then from that point forward, when we do need replenishable funds from Hillwood, we would be able to do that on electronic deposit.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Savory explained to Stephen Cole exactly how this kind of thing would work with this, fund that we have. And then they would provide us with an invoice, and then when it gets to a level, above or below, then
Yeah.
we ask for more money, and that doesn't seem to
There's
be
no
an issue.
level. I don't remember reading a level in that.
Well, no, we talked about it when it gets below 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
I
can
think we
kind of
discussed
determine
that.
our own, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can.
And it
Yeah, once we
depends
see
on-
how the funds are
Well, it
being
would depend
expended.
on, what's actually been sent out, and then what we're anticipating in the foreseeable future
Right.
would be, I would just then contact them and say, we need another 20,
Yeah.
or we need
Do-
another 10, or something like that.
Right.
Do we know if, what kind of invoice Paul Kelly's gonna give us?
Yeah, we do. I was gonna say we should put that on our next agenda, but he's looking at $2,400 a month, which at a rate of $150, which is a going rate for someone who does that, is 18 hours a month.
Okay.
So I don't think that's.
That will come out of the Hillwood.
Yeah, but that can come out of the Hillwood
Yeah.
money?
Okay.
Yeah, that will come
Yeah.
out.
So the Hillwood money isn't designated necessarily for whomever we hire as our consultant. We can use it for consulting.
He's a tech consultant.
Okay, fine.
So-
That's just what I wanted to hear.
So part of the recital or the agreement, it says in there,
Retained.
prior to hiring people that they want to look at, Hillwood wants to have a resume or whatever.
Mhm.
Do you have things like that you could send? Paul Kelly would be the first one. Did he send you something that talks about himself, his business?
I'll look, I think he did.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. That would fall under Pat, but I've been reading it so often, it's almost memorized.
I did give Mac, kind of an update on where we were with consultants who had interviewed, who had turned us down, who we recently spoken with, and that I would keep them apprised
Okay.
of where that went.
Okay, good, good.
Okay.
Very good. Okay, so, the treasurer's report, by the way, when I open tomorrow, the 20,000, that'll be another money market account, which I think we should call it the review fee. What do you think? I have to put a title on that.
Yeah, whatever they suggested one, right?
Yeah, they did, it's kind of long, I was gonna shorten it up a little
Yeah.
bit. But anyway, you can always change it, but as far as the
I'll
date
just
goes,
keep the same format on that Johanna has. I'll steal her spreadsheet. and
we
extend
just
it.
have to add another column, no problem. So, I'll give you my, Susan, I'll give you my copy, okay?
Okay.
I know you don't have it, but, so you can record it with the minutes, okay?
Yep.
Thank you. All right, the balance as of 9:30, just wanted to go through the month of September, just to show you, first we deposited Jack Williams' check. The next thing, we spent some money on the registry of deeds for forestry. And then I had to transfer some money to pay bills, obviously. And there was a check that I was talking to Jim and I wasn't paying attention and I messed it up, so we had to void it. So it was voided by me, the treasurer. And under that, we had 2 invoices. And I think I'm gonna go back and open that invoice number up to specifically, because KP Law has worked with us on the Hillwood document. They have also the MOU for Forest Street. So I really need to open this up, and I'll just go back and change it. But I don't know, we've been getting a lot of KP Law
We have.
bills. Craig was on the one for the recitals, or whatever you want to call
Right.
that, and Katie Kine was the one on the MOU. So
Yeah, the 94th Street, should it close, we get all that.
We will, I've got it
money
all,
back.
I get it all written down, honey.
Okay.
Yeah, it's right here, all written down.
Is that-
Right here.
Cool.
Got that all written down, honey.
No, Billy,
I do,
it's written down.
it's not a lie, it's all written down. That's where I was, that was where I was Monday when I had to visit Jill.
Because we will get all that money back when, and if we sell
Absolutely.
94th Street.
Yeah. All right, so the bottom line of the checking account as of 9:30 is $1,481.59. I did pay 2 bills while I was there on Monday, but they didn't amount more than $300 or something like, or even less than that. So there's still money left on that side, so we won't do anything. The money market account has $29,323.84. The interest is 24 cents. Then on the urban renewal plan account, we have $4,758.07, and the interest is on that side is 4 cents. To date, the year-to-date for the money market savings account is $2.13. You know, we used to get $40 and $50 out of whack.
Yeah.
The renewal plan side has 46 cents. We haven't even hit $1 in all this time. It's really-
You can't buy a cup of coffee with all these.
Oh, absolutely not.
For
Absolutely not.
18%, you know?
And that is.
It's all relative.
Get that.
All right, I make a motion that we approve the treasurer's report for.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Joanna.
Yeah.
Sorry, who seconded that?
Paul. Okay, lastly, the minutes for August 23rd, 9/7 and 9/22. We need to approve these, and no, Paul, I'm still working on them. Actually, Ron was working on them, and he sent me the Word doc and said, I give up.
Oh, jeez.
So, I'll get them eventually.
I thought you had Susan doing something with that.
No, I never handed these
Oh.
17 handwritten pages off to you. College rule. It's working out okay. You did, Paul.
Put me on the spot.
Are there any changes from 8/23, 9/7, and 9/22?
No, I'm holding this as the Bible of where we're going, because it's got so much in it, it's unbelievable. So I'm holding it. And I mean, I'm not holding it as a vote, I'm just gonna make
Please vote on
I'm gonna make it's gonna be a reference
I
point.
just learned how to upload these so that they can be posted.
It's gonna be a reference point.
When I put approved in the corner. What I've learned to do.
So
So is there a motion to accept the minutes for 8/23,
So moved.
9/7, 9/22?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Now I can put those away. Thank you, Sue. Are there any comments? Thank you.
No, I think at our next meeting, and I know we're kind of out of time, because I don't know if the rec people are waiting or if they've gone into the other room. At our next meeting, I think on the agenda, we should put on the FAQs that Paul
Exactly.
rewrote.
So let's
or
set-
Edited, I should say.
Let's set a meeting so I can get that out to Paul Kelly and possibly Mr. Cole.
Oh, can I ask a question? Savory, I know you're working with Paul, but I brought it, I saw Paul at the Council on Aging one of the days past week, and I said, hey, I think we need to get an email, like rda.contact@carverma.gov.
Yeah.
And he said he's been working on it, and I said to him, I said to him, working on it? The police station, they don't need all those things they had before, it's done. So So if you don't mind, I'm gonna go talk to Elaine.
Go ahead.
Okay, that's fine. I know that they have fewer email spots than they have people who want them.
I know, but we took over that page that was.
I know, that's
And they had two.
apples and oranges.
So do we need another email?
No, you have nobody to write to you. If somebody wants to write to Savory, say he's the staff person, and they want,
There should be an RDA at Carver. There should be
there should be one.
a general, whoops.
So I'm calling it rda.contact@carverma.gov. So with your permission, I'm gonna be talking up to Elaine, okay?
I could send nobody better.
Than me, right? Yeah, okay.
Okay,
We
guys.
also have to figure out who would have access to it.
Okay, I'll make sure.
Okay.
You're number one on my list.
I know, I don't know how I would do that since I already have a Carver email address. I
It
would
doesn't
probably have
matter.
to add another email address.
You could.
Well-
I could, yeah.
You could do it.
All right, next meeting, the week of November 1st.
Okay.
Pull out your calendars, and is that a conservation week for you?
Yes, it is.
So the 3rd, the 2nd or 3rd, what do you, Wednesdays?
Wednesdays.
Wednesday.
If you keep it on a Tuesday, this office is open, it's easy for Pat if he needs to go get the checkbook or something like that.
Okay, so Tuesday the 2nd?
That's fine with me.
Okay, with
Everybody
me.
good? So we'll set our next meeting for Tuesday,
Yep.
11/2,
Time,
6 o'clock, and I will try and get this room.
are we gonna get this room 4, is it?
I'm hoping, yeah, I'll put it in for tomorrow.
It's
And-
election day, does that make any difference?
Oh, they take this room?
No.
But no, we're
There's
not running an
No, not
election.
here.
Okay, so I mean, the town hall's open.
The town hall's open,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I mean,
That's Boston, isn't it?
Yeah, Boston.
it is Boston, but it's, under normal circumstances, it's
Oh.
national election.
Oh, really?
day.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Oh.
first Tuesday in November.
And Sharon, just so you know, the morning of 11/2 is the working meeting.
Oh, they did set that.
Yeah.
Now see if I know in
Well, that's
advance.
convenient.
Yeah, so we just sit in this room all day?
Is anyone bringing coffee here?
No. no,
Okay, and is that at 8:30 again?
8:30, yes.
Okay, I should,
8:30, oh my God.
if I put that in, Pat, I'll go instead of you.
You can do that.
Thank you. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.